IRS boss drops bombshell. Massive tax refunds coming in 2026, biggest checks ever. Hey folks, let's talk about some real good news hitting American wallets right now as we wrap up 2025. The head of the IRS just confirmed what a lot of us have been hearing: next year's tax season is shaping up to deliver the largest refunds in history. We're talking serious money back in people's pockets, thanks to the tax changes from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act signed earlier this year. This isn't just talk. It's coming straight from top officials, and it's going to help millions of hardworking families, seniors, and everyday workers. Frank Bisignano, who's running day-to-day operations at the IRS as CEO while also heading up Social Security, went on Fox Business and laid it out plain and simple. He said over 94% of middle-class Americans are set to get a real boost, lower tax rates, and actual benefits flowing forward. For Social Security recipients, there's relief adding up to around $6,000 in effective benefits because of the commitment to easing taxes on those payments. Bisignano called it straight. This will lead to the biggest refunds that we've ever seen. And he's not alone in saying this. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who's also acting as IRS Commissioner, has been echoing the same thing. He told reporters that because the big tax bill passed in July and most folks didn't adjust their paycheck withholdings, we're looking at a gigantic refund season early in 2026. Estimates are running $100 to $150 billion in total refunds, which could mean $1,000 to $2,000 extra per household, depending on your situation. Bessent put it bluntly: working Americans are going to see very large checks coming their way in the first quarter. Then there's Kevin Hassett, the White House economic advisor, who went even further. On Fox Business, he predicted the biggest refund cycle ever in the history of America, with people getting massive refund checks. Hassett pointed out that for folks with tips or overtime or seniors on Social Security, the hits are going to be especially big. President Trump himself said in his year-end speech that families could save anywhere from $11,000 to $20,000 a year under the full package, and a huge chunk of that relief shows up as refunds when you file for 2025 taxes. Why is this happening now? The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or ABA, as some call it, made a bunch of changes retroactive to the start of 2025. That includes no taxes on tips up to certain limits, no taxes on overtime pay, deductions for things like auto loan interest on American-made cars, bigger standard deductions, and that key relief for seniors on Social Security. A temporary $6,000 extra deduction for folks 65 and older means nearly 90% of Social Security beneficiaries end up paying little to no federal tax on their benefits. The Social Security Administration even put out statements celebrating how this helps retirees keep more of what they've earned over a lifetime. But since the bill didn't hit until summer, the IRS didn't update withholding tables in time for most paychecks. That means a lot of us overpaid throughout the year, and now it's all coming back as refunds. Experts like those at the Tax Foundation are backing this up too. They figure average refunds could jump to around $3,800, way up from about $3,052 last year. That's real cash hitting bank accounts when people need it most, maybe for bills, savings, or just breathing room after tough times. This builds on the 2017 tax cuts that were already helping families, making lower rates and bigger deductions permanent while adding new breaks. No wonder officials are calling it one of the most pro-worker pieces of tax work ever. For middle-class households, it's outsized relief. Think thousands extra over time, starting with those big checks next spring. Of course, not everyone's situation is the same. If you're in food service relying on tips, or putting in overtime at a factory, or retired and drawing Social Security, you could see the biggest bumps. The administration is even planning a push to remind people to file early so they get their money faster. And there's more on the horizon, like those new Trump accounts seeded with $1,000 for kids born in certain years. Growing Tax-Free for the Future by Signano highlighted how $1,000 now could turn into $500,000 by retirement age with smart saving. Bottom line, after all the promises, the data and officials are lining up to say 2026 refunds are going to be historic. Middle-class folks, workers, and seniors are the main winners here, getting back money that was over-withheld and keeping more going forward. It's a direct hit to household budgets in a positive way, and something a lot of families have been waiting for. Or on the other hand, be careful. They might give you 3 years' worth in taxes, and then when you claim the next year, you will not get a check for another 3 years. My videos are audio, which is something you can freely listen to without missing an episode while you clean, do dishes, or relax. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Follow so we can stay connected. Your support matters more than you know, and I appreciate every moment you give to listen. Your support is important to me, and it helps me a lot. Feel free to like, support, and subscribe. Crowning Thoughts True Speaker Copyright 2025 by Santiago D.C. Maria. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution. I love you all and stay blessed. Thank you for listening. Love always. Santiago D.C. Maria.